know my introduction is running long and everyone wants to listen to Dr. Essam, but I just want you guys to get a real appreciation of who Dr. Essam is that Dr. Nuruddin Aitar, he was a master in tazkiyah, and he was also a master in the academic fields such as hadith and tafsir. And subhanAllah, when we sit in class, there are times where Dr. Essam is like, man, this guy's an academic, right? And then the next second is like, yeah, this guy's a Sufi, and he's like, he's both of them. And you know, like subhanAllah, it just reminds me, like, you know, whenever like I reference the books of Shaykh Nuruddin Aitar, it gives me the same feeling. So you know, like I feel really proud to be in that chain that, you know, I studied from Dr. Volkan, and now I'm getting the chance to study from his teacher, and having the ability, the tawfiq to read some of Shaykh Nuruddin Aitar's kutub, you know, I feel really blessed. So without further ado, inshallah, I'm gonna let Shaykh Dr. Essam take the stage.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. سهل لنا أمورنا واشرح لنا صدورنا ووفقنا لما تحبه وترضاه. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين وأنت أرحم الراحمين. So this my second visit to Chicago City, and the first time when I came here, I came to teach at University of Chicago Divinity School. I was teaching that time 3 years ago at the Divinity School. I was teaching Quranic Arabic. But that time I just was living in Hyde Park. I didn't discover the Chicago Sharif. That's the first time when I met Sheikh Amin. He said Chicago Sharif. I was not aware about all of these communities here, because when I came here I just came, no car, and I should live in Hyde Park. I just made some trip to the west suburbs. So it seems for me, especially the program here I attended at Darul Qasim is fascinating, interesting, and beyond my expectation. So what we are teaching at Damascus University and Halaqat al-Ilm in Syria, without any hesitation, it seems for me, as we like teach here at Darul Qasim with the students. So such a blessed place, and I hope these institutions and these institutions growing up Muslim be guided to the beauty and power of tradition. So in this tradition, I think the way and for us to build again and to see how our history is not just like limited to the last 50 years. This is the challenge on media and in every place to convince Muslim that the history is just the last 50 years, and the Muslims mostly are not aware about the history of Islam and the traditions, the power of traditions, the complex and the nuances that we have in each madhab, and specifically in Hanafi madhab. So when Mufti Hisham reached me to speak here, he asked me to just to pick up a subject. That's very tough task to pick up any subject, because as we know in balagha, the rhetoric, Arabic rhetoric, when you want to speak about anything, you need to know the audience and then how this fits the audience. So it seems for me, let me say in this way, my knowledge based on the idea of ta'allum and ta'lim. There is no ta'allum without ta'lim. So when you are a teacher, you need to be a student. So in every idea you are delivering, there's something like you should receive. So mostly I don't prefer just like to teach and to speak without any disconnection, like for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So please, if you have any feedback, any question during my lecture, my talk here, feel free to ask about any subject, maybe to ask about explanation, or to explain more about on something. So why this subject? Why connecting Islamic education in the West with Surah Al-Baqarah? So you know that the name of surah is ijtihadi, is not. There are two types of opinions in the history of Islam. We call the first one tawfiqi and the second one tawqifi. Tawfiqi based on Muslim opinions and their ijtihad, and tawqifi based on wahi, revelation. So the names of surahs based on there are many surahs rely on prophetic reports. Surah Al-Baqarah, one of them. And also in Hadith, Surah Al-Baqarah named with another name. What's the name? What's another name for Surah Al-Baqarah in Hadith? That's a name given to Surah Al-Baqarah and Al-Imran as a dual word or dual title. Anyone? Az-Zahra one and Az-Zahrawan, Az-Zahrawain. So the singular word Az-Zahra and Zahra, and then Hamza shifted to be Waw or Ya. So and Zahra here is a feminine word of Azhar, and Azhar derived from Zain Ha Ra. So Zain Ha Ra means a color or means a flower. And this is very important. So this based on prophetic report, and also Surah Al-Baqarah based on the story in this surah coming in the page 9 and 10 with Israelite people. Surah Al-Baqarah received a very big intention from Muslim scholars, and specifically from Al-Razi, Fakhruddin Al-Razi. He presented Al-Baqarah as a surah mirroring Surah Al-Fatiha. That's based on munasabat, how each surah connected to another. So in the last of Surah Al-Fatiha, there are three types of people. The first one, An'amta alayhim. The second one, Al-Maghdubi alayhim. The third one, Ad-Dallin. So all of these three types mirroring with Surah Al-Baqarah. So An'amta alayhim mirroring with the first type in Surah Al-Baqarah, Al-Muttaqin. And the second type, Al-Maghdubi alayhim, where should be the second type in Surah Al-Baqarah? الذين كفروا. After Al-Muttaqin, إن الذين كفروا. And the third type, Ad-Dallin. What's the third type in Surah Al-Baqarah? ومن الناس من يقول آمنا. So Al-Munafiqin, hypocrites people. So here Al-Razi presented this opinion just to say the tradition, what we have in hadith, that al-maghdubi alayhim al-dhalin are Jews and Christian, that's not based on Quran, that's based on hadith. I'm sorry, not based on hadith, but based on, I'm sorry, again, is based on hadith, but not based on Quran. But if we achieve or we approach Surah Al-Baqarah from this angle, we will see that Surah Al-Baqarah mirroring with Surah Al-Fatiha, and Surah Al-Fatiha doesn't speak about Jews and Christian. But however, I made a research when I was in Berlin working on Quranic studies. I made a research on Surah Al-Fatiha, and to interpret and understand Surah Al-Fatiha based on Quranic interpretation without hadith. And I found after 1 year of studying that al-maghdubi alayhim are Jews and al-dhalin are Christians. This how Quran present the idea. So I'm saying this because it is academic research, is not about to divide the world, but this based on Quran. So there are some referring about the anger of Allah, and this anger connected with Israelite in the history of calf and how Israelite people worshipped calf. So this is very obvious on Quran. However, in Medina, we will see al-maghdubi alayhim 5 types, like in Muslim community and outside of Muslim community. And then in the 2nd Islamic century and the 3rd Islamic century, al-maghdubi alayhim happened to become among the Muslim society, like the group with rational approach, accused as maghdubi alayhim or dhalin. So we'll see the evolution of maghdubi alayhim during the 1st century, the 2nd century, and the 3rd century. So however, so is it, so how we can still, so we don't have any connection with what I'm talking about right now and Islamic education. So when you go to Surah Al-Baqarah, we'll see a very important thing, especially with the first people, Al-Muttaqin. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. The first word mentioned in Quran and to describe Al-Kitab is a rank of knowledge. The rank of knowledge here to negate any doubt. And this here we speak about, when we negate any doubt, we speak about knowledge. So there is a certain knowledge in this book, but for whom? For Al-Muttaqin. And Al-Muttaqin is based on the concept taqwa, and taqwa it etymologically derived from 3 letters. The first letter is Waw, the second one Qaf, and the third one is Ya, Waqaya. And the meaning of taqwa and waqa is to protect. However, there are 2 definitions for taqwa. The first one defined by legal scholars, by fuqaha. They said the taqwa is where Allah finds his worshipper. So Allah wants to see the worshipper in the place he loves and doesn't see him in the place he doesn't love. In Arabic, أن يجدك حيث أمرك وأن يفتقدك حيث نهاك. What does that mean in 24 hours? So if we apply the concept of taqwa in 24 hours, that means you have just one identity. You just have one identity. You don't have secrets. You don't have 2 faces. You don't have 2 lives. So you have just one life, one face, and one identity. And that's why when we go to Sufi definition, they define taqwa as muwafaqatu as-sirri al-alan. So that means your secret should match your external or inward match outward, internal match external. And that's very important in Muslim education and very important in Western life. So mostly I see a big struggle in Muslim society, especially in the second generation. So they don't know to which society they belong, to here or to their countries, and you can see different communities here. So the idea of taqwa is to unify the two aspects, the two sides of each Muslim, and to make them one. However, for this, we have 4 types of people. We have people who unify external and internal, and they divide it into subcategories. And we have another type of people who their external doesn't match their internal, and then divided in 2 subcategories. The subcategories based on if you have the external side match the internal side, but based on what? What's the authority? So if you make this match between your external and internal based on his irada, his will, his sharia, that's the meaning of taqwa. So then you're saying match your action, and your action match your intention, and your intention match his will. But if you don't have this match between your external and internal, then what you will have, I'm sorry, again, if you have the agreement, I'm the first one. If you have the agreement and the match between your external and internal, but not based on his will, but based on your will, then you will be the second type in the Quran. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. So the first one, muttaqi, you have this match, and then this match based on his will. The second one, you have this match, but based on your will. The third one, you doesn't have this match. Your external different from your internal. Your external is very good, excellent, and people praise you for this, especially in Muslim society. But your internal is different. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ آمَنَّا. قول is different from iman. So there is the first one, الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ. But the second one, يَقُولُ. The power of iman and the fake power of qawl is just qawl. And then this the third type of people. Their external doesn't match internal. And this is the idea of hypocrisy. You have 2 faces, 2 identities. And a lot of people in different societies, in religious societies, they have this struggle. How they can match their external with their internal, outside, inside, inward and outward. And there is a very unique subcategory, the last one, the people who have a very good internal, but their external different from their internal. So their internal, their inward, very good, but their external, it seems for others different. So in Surah Al-Baqarah, I found that not in the first 2 pages. I found it in the end of Surah Al-Baqarah. لِلْفُقَرَاءِ الَّذِينَ أُحْصِرُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. And then يَحْسَبُهُمُ الْجَاهِلُ أَغْنِيَاءَ مِنَ التَّعَفُّفِ. So they showing something different from what they have in reality. And this is just an example. However, this example makes some, especially Sufi people, to follow a type called mulamiti. So mulamiti or mulamitiya, the people you can see they're like anyone. They practicing life and sitting with people, but their internal is connected with Allah in the same moment. So here, this another people. So however, so based on all of these, the highest rank is taqwa. The highest rank is taqwa. So back to Muslim education. So the first one, so as I said, taqwa coming after negation or negating raib, negating doubt. And then taqwa. When we go to just to read the first two, the third and fourth ayah, we'll see الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون. Think about all of these. You will not see just one world. So the challenge for believers is not, so you are in this world, but it's supposed to believe in the unseen world. This is the challenge. You are in the seen world, but the challenge is to believe in unseen world. This is the match. So seen and unseen world. And then يقيمون الصلاة. إقامة الصلاة is the connection between the heart of believer and Allah, between seen and unseen world. ومما رزقناهم. The concept of rizq, provision of Allah, is based on unseen world, and infaq based on the seen world. والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك, the present. وبما أنزل من قبلك, the past. وبالآخرة هم يوقنون. Yaqeen in this world and الآخرة hereafter, future. So you will see here present, past, future, seen, unseen, external and internal, inward and outward. So the idea here, so Islamic education here based on a very important concept. A human being created to live in two worlds, not in one world. If you shrink your knowledge and limit your knowledge just to this world, and then everything will be stifled and closed, and you don't have any access to the big knowledge. So human being in Islam supposed to live in two worlds, and this is very, very important. And you have two ways to do that. The first way to have عرفان من Allah is nur, just a light. هدى للمتقين. You can see this circle from the first one, iman, kufr, nifaq, and then all of these just like based on Allah, like هدى للمتقين. So if you don't have this access to huda, and then Allah will direct you in a different way. When this all categories finished, what's the first verse after all of these categories? On the third page of Surah Al-Baqarah, after nifaq. يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Another circle. So the first circle, taqwa, and here we have another circle, taqwa. This is the first circle based on huda, based on the light from Allah. If you have this light and you understand that you're supposed to live in two worlds, not in one world, you should open this world to unseen world and to make this match between your internal and external, then something will be, we have a result for this. I'll speak about this later, about the concept of falah, muflihun. If you don't have this process and you don't have this light, you will be forced. اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. So you don't have this privilege to create. You are created. You are a big jail. You cannot escape. You can escape just in one case, if you create yourself, if you create a human. If you cannot do that, الذي خلقكم. If you cannot do that, you can do many things like to advance and to improve the life, but the idea of خلق is a challenge. If you cannot do that and you understand this message and this is threatened, اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم, and see من قبلكم here, there الذين يؤمنون بما أنزل الذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك. They have this light, iman. But here is to make this analogy. الذي خلقكم, you see that and you witness that with your kids, with your fathers, with your dads, parents, society, community. خلقكم والذين من قبلكم, and then past. All of these came before you, past, died. لعلكم تتقون, and then give all of these signs. الذي جعل لكم الأرض فراشا. This is another way. And then repeated. وإن كنتم في شك مما أنزلنا. So here, if you have this shak, everything here threatened, and there light. You have two ways. You have the way of light, and then you will access taqwa, or you need to be forced and led by this truth, by this reality. You don't own your life. And then فاتقوا النار, again فاتقوا النار. Do you see تقوا, تقوى المتقين. هدى للمتقين لعلكم تتقون is a circle. You have two ways. So for Islamic education, if we don't solve this problem with our kids from the first years, and kids don't understand the idea of unseen world, and to expand this knowledge, and they don't have this reality, they are supposed to live in two worlds, and to revive this meaning in their heart. وإذ أخذ ربك من بني آدم من ظهورهم ذريتهم وأشهدهم على أنفسهم ألست بربكم. So if our kids not educated to say Bala in every day, and they have this light or this access to the another world, unseen world, and everything bad will be coming. So then we are now going back to Falah. Falah has three meanings. So if you pick up here any translation, anyone can pick any translation here in the mosque. Just if you have any, just like pick up any translation and give us the translation of Muflihun. So what's the translation first? Yeah. So however, mostly in Kutub al-Tafsir and also in translation, we will find a major translation, or a translation most scholars agreed on. The idea of falah. So what's the successful? Yeah. So I just searched and found this, just like I pick up from animal. So the idea of successful in Arabic meaning najah, right? And this very narrow meaning of falah, very, very narrow meaning of falah. This based on the general meaning of falah, how like people receive the idea of falah, muflih and falih. But if we go to the pre-Islamic Arabic, especially in Umru al-Qais poem, he referred the word falaha, fa, lam, ha, to the meaning of baqa. The meaning of baqa here, immortality, khulud. So what does that mean? So if you open your heart to the unseen world while you are living in this world, you don't have a finite life. It's not the idea about believing in the hereafter. So hereafter, starting from here, the beauty start from here. The beauty start from here. And the beauty that you are believing in that place should start from here. Not waiting. الدنيا ربيع المؤمن. الدنيا, the spring of believer. So you don't need to wait. And Maulana Rumi said, if you believe you are dust, then you are dust. If you believe you are dust, then you are dust. If you believe that you're into dust, from now you are dust. But if you believe in this meaning, you are supposed to live in two worlds, then your life starts from here. The beauty starts from here. This is the idea of falah. This is the idea of Islamic education. And another meaning of falah, I combine. So the idea of taqwa, how we can, if we have this two sides of life combined, and you have balance with these two lives, we have three concepts, three results with our societies, communities, and individual life. So the another meaning, if you go to any Arabic dictionary, falah, fa, lam, ha, what's the meaning in lexicon, Arabic lexicon? Falaha. Here there are some Arab. So when and where we use fallah, what's the meaning of fallah? Farmer. That's very, very important meaning in Islamic education. There's another window, a very big, vast window to understand the Islamic education. So what's the meaning of farmer here? This meaning, you are supposed to start from 0 point. Start from the soil, under the soil. You are not perfect and not supposed to be perfect. You are a human. And this is very important circle. The fourth page, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي خَالِقٌ إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح. See here the idea of fallah. You are a farmer, and to understand the meaning of farmer, you should understand the meaning of starting from 0 point. You are not perfect, and 0 point starts from where? From hidden place. Not from external, from internal, from inward, from inside, from hidden. And then you witness الزهراء, أزهر, سورة البقرة, الزهراء, الزهراوان, the flower, how coming up, growing. And then we will connect about what the meaning of Baqarah and then the idea of color and all of these. So here, the idea of Zahra is very connected to Fallah. Then اقرأوا خواتيم سورة البقرة. You will see خواتيم سورة البقرة إن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم أو تخفوه. Hidden life and revealed life. Do you see that? Hidden and revealed. Internal and external. So if you go to the idea of fallah, the farmer starting from 0 point and then witnessing and seeing how this flower growing, this the life of believer. And this is a circle of perfection. The circle of perfection starts from this 0 point. And how start in our life? So our kids need to know that they are not perfect. They are farmer in this world. And what does that mean to start from 0 point and fallah, to accept all people? Because you are all the same in this level. And you understand the reality and the nature of human being. 0 point, and Fallah. If we combined all of these, Fallah is a farmer, and Muflihun successful, and Muflihun as and the meaning of Falah here as Baqa and Khulud, that mean infinite life or immortality. So all of these, if combined, will produce the happiness. Mostly, like people suffering in this life, they don't have real happiness because they believe that something like will end. Our kids, when they realize that there is a death, like stunned. Just our cat passed away 2 weeks ago. Still my kids struggling. The first death in their life, like witnessing a cat. And so when they witness the death, and then we are human. So how we can fix this issue, how we can solve this issue, is just to believe in the hereafter, yes. But how to believe in while you are in this world, to open your world, to not to believe you are dust, to believe in the spirit of Allah, and then to bring the whole beauty from that life to this life, and to make this Rabi'. So as we understand Surah Al-Baqarah, so Muslim society should, like their societies, communities, just spread beauty based on this understanding and happiness. And if they have this balance between unseen world and seen world. So the idea here of happiness is very important. If we go to, and you can see this internal and external, if you go to الذين كفروا إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون, blocked. If you warn or not warn, same for them. Why? Because they don't have this access. Anyone doesn't have any access to that life, to unseen world, he cannot receive any message. Is completely different paradigm. And then ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم, between the hidden and between external and internal, concealed. And the third one, ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين. You feel with you can read with these, they see light. مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا فلما أضاءت ما حوله ذهب الله بنورهم. There is a light, but their light taken away, but not the real light. There is a light. They cannot understand the message. They put their fingers in their ears, but everything surrounding them giving them a message. And في الحديث, and this especially in Hanafi school, they consider this hadith a basis for wudu, said إنما الأذنان من الرأس. إنما الأذنان من الرأس. What's the meaning of hadith? This hadith in wudu, that's the meaning of you need to clean your ears. But there is another meaning, إنما الأذنان من الرأس. And if you don't have this أذنان, and رأس meaning that this like should be the top priority. If you don't have this meaning, إنما الأذنان من الرأس, yes, الأذنان من الرأس, not from any part of body, right? But the meaning إنما الأذنان من الرأس, if you don't have this access to the past message, prophetic message, الذين يؤمنون بما أنزل من قبلك, you don't open this world, and you don't understand إنما الأذنان من الرأس, then everything will be limited and closed. Khatim. So this is a very beautiful hadith. Again, إنما الأذنان من الرأس, we need to understand there in all of these texts speaking about wudu and ibadah and salah, there is another message. ويل للأعقاب من النار. Why? In wudu. that means like you need to clean and to wash your aqib. But aqib is very important. Why? Because aqib is the root of uquba, of iqab. It's just not about your foot. It's iqab. And what does that mean? Because your feet telling us where you are. This is the idea of taqwa. If your feet in the place that Allah doesn't prefer, doesn't like, that means you receive iqab before akhirah. Your iqab starts from here. And this aqib following you, chasing you. As like you have 2 feet chasing one each other. So every sin that you have will chasing you in this life, not also in hereafter. This is the idea of iqab. And same with the idea of thawab, something like coming to you. So the idea of sin and starting here, like the iqab, starting from waylun lil aqabi min an-nar and innama al-udhunani min al-ras, as I said. So the problem, we can see like 3 types, but each type, each human have 5 sense, hawas. Vision, hearing, smelling. For each hassa, you have 2 aspects, internal and external. Basar and basira. And that's why in Surah Baqarah, ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم. So for سمع is, we have in another text asma'. But however here, so for each sense we have 2 aspects, ظاهر وباطن, internal and external. If you make the balance between this external and internal, then you open this world. You will be Khalid min أهل الخلود. But for munafiqeen, يخادعون الله, deceive, but وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم. If you have this, like you don't have this balance, then just you deceive yourself. And you will see then ولا وما يشعرون, negating feeling. And then لا يعلمون, negating knowledge. So let me just to if I understand you very well. So you speak about like very daily life, right? Okay, so I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong. I understand. So what I mentioned before, so how I can connect. So this like could be a criticism or could be just a confirmation. So how we connect all of these to So what we have in our life. So the idea here is, right. No, so I I agree and I don't agree. As I said in first, what I started my talk, and feel free to interrupt me if I'm wrong. The power of tradition and the beauty of tradition. So all of these connected with what we have in all books. So when we understand Quran and Sunnah, so that not coming for like anyone open Quran and find all of these. So all of these meanings coming when you base and when you set all of these meanings on tradition. But you have a different rule as someone like a seeker of knowledge, as a student, as a scholar, as just like someone wants to apply and to follow all of these ahkam in his life. So you need to just to see all of these how can fit the tradition. So in every context we have like different. So like at Dar al-Qasim, so everything based on tradition, and we teach tradition, and then how we can connect all of these tradition with all of these. And as I said, بلاغة لكل مقام مقال. And then if any opinion provided in any circle, there is a process with ulama to ask like what's the dalil and what's the evidence and what's the proof for this. It's not just like to speak about something and not based on tradition. So if there is something just like to maybe to speak specifically about what I'm talking right now, I think would be good, just like to connect, not to speak about something else. Yeah. But if just like I need to connect this with this tradition, because this is another topic, right? Just like how I can connect this with that. Yesterday we spent around 1 hour and maybe 15 minutes on the beauty of tradition and complex, and how we have different ways in our life, like Salafi, Sufi, and traditionalist, they approach all of these texts. It's not just like one way, and how we can combat and how we can build our tradition in this day is a big question. So I see maybe this could be another topic, and if you have just one example, I think would be very good to connect what you are saying here and with what I'm saying here, not just like to go, because I'm Arabic. And I said, I'm saying always like at Dar al-Qasim, al-istitrad عادة عربية. What does that mean? No, al-istitrad. What does that mean? It's going outside the subject. This like in Syria, you can see Shaikh talking, but the subject here and then. So is to make any Arabic to focus on like the text, that's a big challenge. Okay, so I'm trying just like to go to the subject. So that's why I'm asking if you have any specific example would be very good. So how we can see all of these understanding and connected with the tradition. So if we again, so Surah Al-Baqarah, right? So Surah Al-Baqarah, here we will see all ibadat, 5 ibadat mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah: Siyam, Salah, Zakah, Hajj, and Shahada. all of these. And when we go to Siyam, we will see is a passive action, hidden. No one sees that. Just you witness that. And then in the end, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيب, the closeness. And this how you, when you open this world, you don't have space. You will see everything close to you. The divine meanings, support. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيب. And then when we go to sadaqah, charity, we have in the end of Surah Al-Baqarah, إِن تُبْدُوا الصَّدَقَاتِ فَنِعِمَّ هِي وَإِن تُخْفُوهَا. Again, تُبْدِي تُخْفِي. إن تبدوا الصدقات فنعم هي وإن تخفوها وتؤتوها الفقراء فهو خير لكم ويكفر عنكم من سيئاتكم. So then, which one here better? To give openly or to give in a private way? إن تبدوا الصدقات فنعم هي وإن تخفوها وتؤتوها الفقراء فهو خير لكم ويكفر عنكم من سيئاتكم والله بما تعملون خبير. So based on this, so we understand that revealing sadaqah, revealing charity, when you give openly, there's something like connected with riya, right? It's not ikhlas. But here is praised, mahmud. ممدوح إن تبدوا الصدقات فنعم هي. But for whom? For muttaqin. For those people, they have this balance between internal and external, between ظاهر and batin. When you have this azima is a very high rank when تبدي الصدقات, and no one can do that. So that means, again, if the verse here, the ayah here, praise those people who reveal their charity but with riya, are these people mamduhun or praised or not? Not, right? That means this verse praise people with who revealing sadaqat but with ikhlas, and this is the highest rank, and this over than ikhfa sadaqat, because no, that's a very tough and challenging action in any one life when he is revealing sadaqah and praise for this. Praise because he has ikhlas. وَإِن تُخْفُوهَا وَتُؤْتُوهَا الْفُقَرَاءَ فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. Why خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ? People understand this خَيْر better. No, خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ, because no one can do the first one. No one can do the first one. This is an opposite. Because like we are teaching our kids to do that in a very, no, is the idea is to teach kids to have this balance and to believe in God, to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then to have ikhlas. They don't have this contradiction between internal and external, between zahir and batin, between sir and alaniya. When they have that, they can reveal sadaqat. And فَنِعِمَّ he, this upper level. But then, وَإِن تُخْفُوهَا فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ, that's just a mercy from Allah. It's good for you. Why? Because you cannot do the first one. And then وَيُكَفِّرُ عَنْكُم مِّن سَيِّئَاتِكُم. This is another evidence. So then, when you have the first meaning, when you have this balance between zahir and batin, between sir and alan, you don't have a secret life. You're a very strong man. You are acting in public life. No one can control you. No one can control your intention. No society, no authority, no police can control you. And this is very important for our Muslim society in this life, in this time. I think everything right now pushing Muslim to be atqiya, especially in our time. Surveillance and like Muslims watched and controlled and followed. So you have two ways in this life to accept the meaning of Iman, and then no one can control you. And you have the power over any power. Or the second way is just like to have two lives. So here is a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to push Muslim to have this balance between their secret and the revealed and secret life. So again, as I said, Siyam, Sadaqah, and Iman bil Ghaib in first, and then in the end, there's a circle. إن تخفوا ما في أنفسكم أو تبدوه يعلمه الله. This just to confirm the meaning. You don't have escape. Everything revealed. And if you believe anything secret will be coming in future to be revealed. And from the poetry that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam loved, he mentioned different lines from poetry from pre-Islamic Arabia. And one of them, ستبدي لك الأيام ما كنت جاهلا وسيأتيك بالأخبار من لم تزودي. So everything will be revealed. You cannot conceal and or hide any secret. And that's very important. What does that mean? Because all of us struggling between their night and their daytime. And ومن استوى يومه فهو مغبون. If you have 2 days same, you are مغبون, you are a loser. So what's the idea? Is a challenge. The challenge starts from where? From yourself, from your ego. And this one blessing of our durus at Darul Qasim with Sidi Atiq and Sidi Shahir, we are reading Sahih al-Bukhari. And I think Sidi Atiq asked a very good question. So one hadith just narrated and mentioned in Bukhari, not mentioned in any Sunan or Sahih Muslim, and in one place in Sahih al-Bukhari. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول الله, this حديث قدسي, من عاد لي وليا فقد آذنته بالحرب وما يزال عبدي يتقرب إلي بالنوافل حتى أحبه فإذا أحببته كنت سمعه الذي يسمع به. The title given to this hadith is باب التواضع. And what's the meaning of tawadu in English? Humbleness, or what's the connection between, just think, 1 minute and I'll be silent for 1 minute. Connection between tawadu and this hadith. Yeah, please go ahead. So al-hadith said in man aada li waliyan faqad, if my translation is not good, correct me. Man aada li waliyan faqad adhantuhu bil harb. Anyone launch or becoming an enemy for my awliya, this my enemy. فقد أذنته بالحرب. I'll declare war. وما يزال عبدي يتقرب إلي بالنوافل. So my worshipper, my servant, still closed and becoming close to me by nawafil, by mandubat, by sunan. حتى أحبه, until I love him. And when I love him, I'll be his hearing. And I'll be his vision, his hand, his leg. 1 minute. You are raising your hand. So feel free, anything coming to your mind, just say, please. Submission, but where in hadith? Yeah, in submission, but submission in hadith where ما يزال عبدي يتقرب إلي بالنوافل, like my servant still worshiping me till I love him. Yeah, in submission. Okay. Another understanding. تفضل. To be thankful. Yes. Okay. Great. So Al-Hafiz ibn Hajar in his Fatih, and you know Fath al-Bari, scholars said for Fatih لا هجرة بعد الفتح, no immigration after Fatih. خلاص يعني done with Fatih. Everything you will see in Fatih al-Bari. He presented different opinions, and the tarajum of Bukhari, titles of Bukhari, occupied a very big attention in Muslim history. And it's we know that Al-Bukhari, this is what the known story, that Al-Bukhari for each hadith he prayed 2 rak'ah. But I think the correct story, he prayed for each title 2 rak'ah in Masjid al-Nabawi. He prayed 2 rak'ahs for each title in Sahih al-Bukhari. And then he wrote down all hadiths under all of these titles during 16 years. Because they said he prayed 2 rak'ahs for each hadith, but he did not stay at Masjid al-Nabawi 16 years. He wrote all titles in Masjid al-Nabawi, and he prayed 2 rak'ahs for each title. And during 16 years, he put all of these hadiths under all of these titles. And this is a very smart title for this. And Ibn Hajar, he mentioned different opinions, and he said just like one thing, and some people connected this hadith تتواضع from the sentence كنت سمعه. كنت سمعه الذي يسمع به. So how we can understand this connection between تواضع and كنت سمعه? So when you will be, when he will be your ear or your hearing, when you get rid of your hearing, when you get rid of your ear. And no one can do that. This is a very big challenge. This is my hearing, my vision, mine. And I need to present you myself, my ego. So you don't have the reality of tawadu' with your hearing, with your vision, with your power. If you don't have that, and if you don't get rid of your hearing, your ear, your vision, your ego, and your property, and then you don't have that meaning. And when you have man tawada'a lillah, when you go to the zero, fallah, farmer, start from the zero, I don't, la hawla wa la quwwa, I don't have any power. Fallah, start from that. When you start from that, the farmer, and you declare that I don't have حول ولا قوة, I don't have anything belong to me, not my hearing. إنما الأذنان من الرأس. Yes, من الرأس. لكن ليس from رأسي, from the الرأس, the meaning, the رأس الأمر. So if you don't have this meaning, and then you will struggle a lot with people. Your ear will be limited. Your vision you will be limited if you don't have this access. The idea is to go to the 0 point farmer from the hidden place, and then is to get rid of your hearing and your vision. And this is a very challenging process. It's not easy. It's not easy. Most Muslim conflict in our Muslim society because this problem, seeking for their rights and my property. Yeah, that's why I came from Syria. When I come from Syria, I found here like people need space, like in walking, in houses, and everything. Like this, okay. You cannot touch anyone. If you touch anyone, and if you go to Cairo, you touch like millions of people during the day. And your house is over and under, your kitchen maybe have an access to your neighbor, and yeah, that's why people like humble. Halas, that's our life. We cannot do anything. But here, you like, I need space. I need like this my property. No, please, yani, okay. I need like also space when you talk. Like when you come to people. When I came from Syria, I speak with people like just like backing, and then I understand like I need this space. When I was in Berlin, I like walk in the street, like in Syria, and when like walking fastly, and especially this elder people in Berlin, they believe that walking is like driving car. This like my truck. No one can come from this side. And I found that the problem of ego is very big. I don't want like to hurt like this like meaning. This I think very not good or bad. But the idea, yes, I own everything. I'm not humble. My hearing, my ear, and this my opinion. No, and this is a very big problem. When we can solve this problem, كنت سمعه الذي يسمع به. And this is the idea of istikhara. Salat al-istikhara. So salat al-istikhara is just like to ask benefit, or no, I'm going to this work, to this action, to this thing by him, uppercase, not by me. This is the idea of istikhara for everything. And when you go with him, by him, what does that mean? You don't have any regret. Even though you are losing, or you shouldn't be regret, because you go with him, by him, not by you, because you are limited, you are infinite. But when you go by him, you open the world, and you will discover a very beautiful world, and no one can control you. When I come to this lecture, I have two things is to come. And this is like very important. I just spoke with a gentleman here. He asked me, yes, this question maybe is like a very big question in his life. That's why I just, when I back to my lecture, I just want to make something benefit for all of us. Maybe this is another question. But we need to communicate. And how to communicate and how understand this meaning in Muslim education, just like we have two things: تعظيم الخالق والشفقة على المخلوق. Worshipping Allah, and then loving and love His servants. That's why, like Ahlullah, yani, they cannot hurt and cannot hurt anything, because they believe that the beauty in everything. The beauty starts from here, a farmer. So then the idea of tawadu' here, the idea of tawadu', I think it's very connected to كنت سمعه الذي يسمع به. This is a very powerful rank, right? If Allah is your hearing. But when you achieve that, when تكون فلاح, when you will be فلاح, بسيط, simple, zero. No mine, no us. And when you have that meaning, no mine and no us, من تواضع لله رفعه. من تواضع لله رفعه. And then you will be a lord of this world. Is just follow Sharia. Because the struggle is our will. And ما يزال عبدي يتقرب إلي بالنوافل. So how to build all of these? You have فرائض, you have sunan, mandubat, nawafil, adab, all of these, like fence for all of these. And all of these fence, all of these against your will. The idea is all of these just against of your will. It's not about the action, the mazhar, the shape of all of these. It's a meaning. يتقرب إلي بالنوافل. The struggling with himself. It's just like just going to salah is the feeling of witness, the feeling of إن الله قريب. So again, everything from Sharia, his will. Yeah, sure. If you have that meaning, to preserve that meaning, and this like المصلي يأخذ على قدر يعني خشوعه, يعني you just have the reward based on your khushu'. If you have 1 minute, 2 minutes, but if you have this like the meaning in like during your salah, and then your life will be completely different. You feel like Allah al-Qadir, not أنت القادر. Everything. So there is a very good wisdom. I cannot recall who said that, but that's in very early Islam. They said, الفوت أشد من الموت. So al-maut is the end of your life, but al-fawd when you miss any moment, not connecting with Allah. So al-fawtu ashaddu min al-maut, because each moment is preoccupied with connection with Allah. If you don't have that meaning, then you cannot returning back this moment. Sure. Right? And this the end of Surah Al-Baqarah. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. This everything connected, because you are not perfect. You are a farmer, and you are supposed to be a farmer, not created as a perfect. And that's why, and thank you for this question, because you are a farmer, you are not supposed to eat from the tree. And this is the first sin by Adam. لا تقربا هذه الشجرة, because this is the tree of perfection, the tree of complete knowledge, infinite knowledge, the tree of baqa or immortality. So you are not supposed to eat, because you are different from angels. So that's meaning when you have that, you have this struggle, you solve yourself. It's just like a struggle between, but the idea is to start with your ego. When you overcome and you vanish your ego, then you will start with this farmer. in the Ardullah. And just let me know. So when I should finish, Sidi? 10 o'clock. Okay, so just to finish and wrap up everything. So connecting all of this with Surah Al-Baqarah. So when we go to Surah Al-Baqarah, they said Al-Baqarah تشابه وإذ قال موسى وإذ قالوا نعم سيدي قالوا يا موسى. Let me read. قالوا ادع لنا ربك يبين لنا ما هي قال ما لونها قال إنه يقول إنها بقرة صفراء. So telling him the color and everything, but they cannot see the color, as like there is nur but ذهب الله بنورهم. They cannot see the color. The color here فاقع لونها تسر الناظرين. No, they cannot, because there is blocked. The idea here is because there is no balance between their real seeking, just like fake seeking, they asking, but not that real seeking of knowledge. Everything in front of them. What does that mean? Everything in front of us. So Surah Al-Baqarah criticize Ahl al-Kitab, but what does that mean? To criticize you. The message for this society. Not the message like Muslim here standing in Khutbat al-Jum'ah and accuse others. The message for this society. The message is not to do the same mistake. This is the idea. And I see like Muslims like on Khutbat al-Jum'ah based on this. No, the message here is for us. Should be in front of us. The idea of Baqarah Safra is for Muslim society. The light here, Allah light here, but there is a block. And قالوا ادع لنا ربك يبين لنا ما هي إن البقرة تشابه علينا. So everything like we don't know, we don't have access because they don't have this light. And then you will see a very important thing here. والله مخرج ما كنتم تكتمون. إن تبدوا وتخفوا. كتم and إخفاء. So they have something concealed. They have something like hidden. And they don't have this balance between their hidden life and their revealed life. And this is the problem. The problem with them, they are not seeking actually the knowledge, but just argument. And as I said, everything here for Muslim society. So everything in Surah Al-Baqarah, read Surah Al-Baqarah not as criticize Jews and Christians, to criticize you as a Muslim, to criticize this society. So because this, if you have the same mistake, يعني you will not. نحن أبناء الله وأحباؤه. No one أبناء الله وأحباؤه. أبناء الله وأحباؤه who are following his message. If you don't following his message, you are like others. You don't have any privilege. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We have 2 minutes. And when Sidi Hisham asked me to do that, I said maybe I should talk maybe 30 minutes and then maybe discussion or something else. But I found in the end that the subject is very big. Surah Al-Baqarah and Islamic education. And two things very big. And the idea here, just like to summarize everything, Islamic education should be built to any Muslim to believe that he living in two worlds, not in one world. And hiding the unseen world from our society is a big problem that doesn't lead to happiness, and then shrink our world and all psychological problems coming to the society. And how you can fix all of these psychological problems? With opening this world. When you open this world, you have baqa, immortality, you have success, as we have in translation, most translations, and then you will have perfection. And the idea of perfection, CD, here is to be a farmer. And what does that mean? And just read Shama'il and read the Prophet, how, especially in his last years of his life, playing with kids. You will not be a perfect without this, with the heart of kid. If you see anyone like elder one, like Shaikh, like shouting on kids, and no, that's not Kamil. All mashayikh that I studied with them, they have the heart of kids. And their laugh, the laugh of kids. And this is not a strategy, is not tactic, it is something like coming from inside. So that's mean Jalal wa Jamal. And the Jamal here is very complex, coming like from Jalal. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And you are very generous, patient to listen to these words. And I believe that everything that I said here, you know already. Just tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bil sabr. This is the message here, is not to tell something that you don't know. And this should be our Muslim life. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Do we have a question? Yes, please. Any question connected to the subject? Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah. That's Surah Al-Baqarah took from me years. When you ask me this question, I need to go deeply with Surah Al Imran. I'm in a project like to think what's the amud, what the main principle of each surah. And each surah is a world, small or big. So here's a question. Sidi Atiq said, you mentioned, I mentioned that Surah Al-Baqarah called Zahra with Surah Al-Imran as Zahrawan. So that's for Surah Al-Baqarah, but what about Surah Al-Imran? Because my knowledge just limited to Surah Al-Baqarah, and I hope that's like there is something like good with this knowledge. So Surah Al-Imran is need another research. I cannot just like say something like coming to my mind. I believe, just like to speak about this, all know here Abdul Hamid Farahi, an Indian scholar and working on tafsir and the idea of nazm. Yeah. So Abdul Hamid Farahi took from him years to understand the amud and the main principle of each surah. So for me, I believe in this way. And when you find that, that doesn't mean like the final research. This nur min Allah. You have tradition, you have Quran, Hadith, Fiqh, and all of these, and then you have aql and qalb. But you need to know, aql is a deceiving tool. You need taslub al-aql. And salb al-aql, negating mind, is the way of Ahlullah. Because al-aql is qamar, moon. And al-qalb is shams, sun. And moon taking the light from sun. And if you don't have this access to moon, to sun, your mind will be deceiving. So sometimes, like, I was like invited to a place to speak. My mind said, go, this is like good benefit and you can talk about something. Okay? But this, you feel like when you sit with yourself, this is like, no, deceiving. That's because for maslaha, for benefit. You need istikhara, bihi. And when you do istikhara and then your heart telling you, go, go. Now go. Even though that, like the hukm al-aql, like your mind telling you go. So the idea here, so again, so about Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Imran, and every surah needs a long study. It's not easy. Nazm al-Quran is not about one word. You discover muflihun, okay, but where's muflihun in Surah Al-Baqarah? How you can connect all of these sadaqat, and to do sadaqat فَنِعِمَّهِ, and then and this, and to find circles. And there is now a theory in Quranic studies called the ring theory. Each surah as a ring, maybe one ring or 2, 3, 4, 5 rings, or connected rings. So Surah Yusuf, rings, and the top when the Yusuf delivered a message to his friends in the jail. Here's the top, and everything coming to this climax, to this top. So then to understand Amud al-Surah and Nazm al-Surah needs life. And I believe what Ghazali said, you should have 3 khatmas in your life. Khatma for your life, the whole life, and khatma for like in 1 month, and khatma is maybe shorter. There is a khatma for life. You cannot finish. And there is a lot of hadith that's Prophet like reading 1 ayah and not finishing from Isha to Fajr. It's 1 ayah. So yeah, that I said, this is not a final. So here there is no any final discovery. This what said Al-Farahi said, you read and then you need another research. Is not, and this connected to what you said about tradition and everything. So he combined all of these and then produced that. And then presented all of these and I produced that. So then how the new tradition built this about society. So when the society sees the message, okay, I see the message of Farahi and they need this message and they follow this message. This is what's happening in all madhahib fiqhiyya, all Islamic schools. You provide and then there is a need from society. And they follow, okay, this message connected to our Muslim life and that's what we need. And this is the rule of ulama, the rule of scholars, the rule of seekers of knowledge. To think and think and think, not just like to repeat all of these traditions without anything connected to our life. We should stop.